Francis Ngannou has always been vocal about his sentiments towards fighter pay, and we see him in a constant tussle with the promotion regarding it. His sentiments regarding Logan Paul's paycheck are strong to say the least. Let's get into what Ngannou had to say about the YouTuber-turned-boxer's paycheck and other UFC news that has been making its rounds. First, Ngannou is deeply upset about Logan Paul being paid more than him. The amount of money Logan Paul made for his exhibition boxing match with Floyd Mayweather left Francis Ngannou shaking his head. On Sunday night's Showtime pay-per-view event, where Mayweather did what many expected him to do and outclassed the YouTube star, the 8-round fight went the distance. Although there were no official cards tallied, MMA Fighting scored the bout 80-72 for the 50-0 former multi-time world champion. Paul told TMZ that there was a chance he could make upwards of $20 million to box Mayweather, even though payouts had not been officially disclosed. Whether the number is accurate or not, it has left the current UFC heavyweight champion wondering how things could change from a financial standpoint in the world of mixed martial arts. The Predator thinks it is crazy that Logan Paul can make that much off of a boxing exhibition. Ngannou repeatedly asked what they could be doing wrong for this to be the deal with the pay rate. He captured the UFC heavyweight title with a second-round KO of Stipe Miocic at UFC 260 in March, and has finished his last 5 opponents, with the previous 4 not making it past the 111 mark in the first round. The 34-year-old heavyweight champ has expressed pay concerns in the past, when attempting to set up a showdown with former light heavyweight champion Jon Jones. Money still seems to be an issue in getting a fight together between Ngannou and Jones, even though Ngannou is champ now. According to Dana White, however, Derek Lewis is the favorite to be standing across from Ngannou for his first title defense sometime this summer. The topic of UFC fighter pay has been up for debate, and the issue has been circulating now for a while. A large number of fighters and prominent personalities are frequently vocal about the issue. Ngannou has been at the forefront of this from the get-go. The current heavyweight champ's contract is nearing its end, and the dispute has been at the forefront of it, not only including fighter pay, but his wish to box. Recently, his prerogative has been speaking up against Logan Paul making that much money. An 0-1 boxer making $20 million off his first fight is ridiculous to the experienced fighter, especially if he compares his check to Logan's. The fighter believes that something is very off about the whole thing. Many have pointed towards race being a factor, but there is no solid evidence of this factoring into the fighter pay. Boxing and UFC have differing audiences, but both can pay fighters heftily. He might have a solid point talking in terms of the disparity in the money. He took home $600,000 in the fight against Gane, which earned him the title he currently has. How much does he get paid? After defeating the former champ, Stipe Miocic, Ngannou recently found himself becoming the UFC heavyweight champ following UFC 260. He has won the last 5 outings via knockout, in which 4 of the 5 opponents didn't even make it past the 111 mark during the first round. As reported by Sports Daily, Ngannou made $580,000 off his last fight, which was his biggest paycheck till date. The first 6-digit paycheck he ever got was in 2016 against Hamilton. Countless fans agree with Ngannou's sentiments that there is absolutely no sense in the fact that an amateur makes $20 million, whereas professionals aren't even making $1 million, let alone half of that. Next, Ngannou prefers one Paul brother over the other. The younger of the 2 Paul brothers is someone who has consistently raised the issue of fighter pay in the UFC. This is how the tussle between UFC president Dana White and Paul began. Ever since then, the 2 take shots at each other. The YouTuber turned boxer has even tweeted about the money fighters were paid after UFC 270. Ngannou made his stance abundantly clear while talking about the beef between the both of them in a recent video. He will communicate as Paul does, albeit in a different manner than him. He stands with Paul on 100% on the matter, especially when he spoke for fighter healthcare. Ngannou's contract dispute is out in the open for everyone to see, and considering he's one of the biggest MMA stars right now, UFC definitely wants to resolve this matter as soon as possible. Now, getting into other UFC news circling the block. Masvidal goes over his heated encounter with Covington, less than a week away from settling his grudge with Covington that has been brewing over the past several years. Both welterweights were once friends, roommates, and even ATT teammates, but the 2 of them grew apart after Covington adopted his trash-talking persona back in 2017. The fighter began becoming racist while he continued his trash-talking activities. His jabs became aimed at several ATT teammates, including Masvidal, which led him to confront Covington at UFC 241 back in August 2019, setting off one of the most heated rivalries in the MMA. During the confrontation, Covington waved Dana White down, claiming that Masvidal wanted to fight him on the spot, whereas all Masvidal wanted was to speak with him outside. Covington had repeatedly broken a rule that demanded ATT fighters not talk trash publicly about their teammates, put in place by ATT founder Dan Lambert. By that point, Masvidal had become one of Covington's primary targets in interviews, So when Masvidal walked into the gym after the two welterweights didn't see each other for a couple weeks, he let Covington know that he didn't appreciate how the situation was being treated. Masvidal is still trying to address the situation man-to-man and hasn't gone public about the matter, but if Covington wants to resolve the issue maturely, he's down to brawl it out. He thought the conversation had ended amicably enough. However, it only got worse from there. As soon as he turned around, Covington hit him with a slurry of swears and death threats. He even asked them to meet at a restaurant where they frequented while they were still on good terms, but Covington never showed up. The fighter stated that had Covington showed up, he probably would have broken a bottle on his face. The two will fight it out on March 5th in a high-stakes battle at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Next, Makhachev favorited over Oliveira in potential fight. It appears Makhachev will be fighting for the UFC lightweight title and will do so as a massive betting favorite. To defeat UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira in a potential showdown between two of the best talents at 155 pounds, Makhachev opened as more than a 4-to-1 favorite following his first-round bout of Bobby Green at UFC Vegas 49. Makhachev's last 4 wins have ended in stoppages, including his 3-minute TKO of Green this past Saturday. He has won 10 consecutive UFC fights. The vacant lightweight belt was captured by Oliveira last year with a second-round knockout of Michael Chandler. Then he defended his title with a third-round submission of Poirier at UFC 269. He has also won 10 consecutive UFC fights. Up next, Joanna slams Covington's persona. As a result of his outlandish statements and brash behavior, a lot of his relationships are frayed. One person who hasn't held back on their opinion about the man is former UFC strawweight champion Joanna Jedrzejczyk. After he made disparaging remarks about her while they were still training under the same roof, the fighter has refused to hold back her remarks. Moreover, she supports Masvidal in the upcoming bout against Covington and even plans on sitting cage side for the fight. She thinks one of the worst things about him is the fact that what he says is never actually what he does. All talk and no walk type of person. He tries to act like a king, but he has empty pockets. Jedrzejczyk has full confidence that Masvidal will settle the grudge once and for all, and the conflicts Covington has brewed up with his former team will take center stage at UFC 272. Jedrzejczyk can't help but hope that Covington gets what he deserves when he finally has to face Masvidal next Saturday night for all the things he's said and done. Lastly, Volkov's visa issues in lieu of Russian-Ukraine war may cause UFC London to tank. A new main event might be needed for UFC's return to London on March 19th, in lieu of the Russia-Ukraine war. The event was meant to be headlined by Alexander Volkov against Tom Aspinall, but the conflict amongst the two countries could cause visa issues for the Russian heavyweight. The UK's stance against all countries supporting Putin's unprovoked and illegal invasion of Ukraine has been made exponentially clear. They will not be welcoming them. Along with Volkov, other Russian fighters that are lined up, Pavlovich, Valiev, and Abdurakhimov, could also be facing entry issues to the UK. It's unclear if UFC will be moving the Volkov-Aspinall fight to the US or dropping it altogether. That's all we have for you today, folks, but we'll be back with more interesting videos. So keep your eyes peeled to stay informed about the sports industry and keep watching our videos. Tell us what you think about Ngannou's sentiments towards Logan Paul's pay by sounding off in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe before leaving. Signing off.